Brownlow medal.
The Norm Smith medal.
Brownlow medal.
Jimmy Bartel.
Matthew Lloyd.
Thanks, Ed. Richmond and Carlton, Jimmy, we're going to start there Thursday night, tomorrow night at the MCG. And I think Richmond fell back into the pack last year, Jim, and I want to take you through a quote from Damien Hardwick on AFL 360 over the last couple of days.
What we probably struggled in a little bit is the clearance aspect and the ability to stop scoring from those. So, look, over the course of the summer, we addressed that, brought in 2 ready-made players, obviously good stoppage players, good clearance players that allow the game to be played a different way. We don't want to negate the strengths that we've already got, but we feel by adding these 2 boys, they're going to help us in an area that we traditionally haven't been strong.
Jimmy, that's the error, isn't it? Look, clearances at Richmond hasn't been good for them.
Yeah, and I agree with Damien Hardwick. These 2 guys can offer something different, but also help the entire Richmond midfield for different reasons. Tim Taranto, huge work rate, and plays in a bit in the mould like Dion Prestia. They call it goal square to goal square, or the soccer term box to box. He does that, massive work rate, and he'll probably start more on the defensive side or the inside of the stoppage. First clearance player, hands, surge the ball forward, where Hopper's a little bit different. He'll come through the front of the stoppage and provide, I guess, what they've been lacking, that scores from stoppages. We know Richmond is really successful in recent times by setting up on the outside of the stoppage and then getting you on the turnover, but Hopper provides that little bit of punch. He can get through the front of the stoppage, and they'll be looking at him hitting up that powerful forward line.
Who's more damaging of the 2 players, Jim?
Different types of players. Yeah. So I think Tim will wear you down through tackling, physical pressure. Hopper can provide a couple of goal assists.
So just on the Tigers, they've lost some players. Castagna's retired, Rioli's gone to half-back, Jacob Arts has gone. Yep. So you think there's an area where Carlton could exploit that?
This is a massive opportunity for Carlton, and this is where they started the year when they were really up and going. Punch off half-back. We look at Doherty in the front half of the ground. We see Sard when he blasts through the middle of the ground. And what this will do for Carlton is it will get it out of their back 50. So the second half of the year, and against good sides, they got trapped in their back 50. The pressure came on top of them. Here's the opportunity. They can run off their players. They don't have those small defensive types that you mentioned, Richmond, but they've got attacking power in their front 50. Get away from there as far as you can quickly.
Yeah, he's a hard player to stop, Sard. So, Jim, who do you think wins this one?
I've been flipping back and forward on this. I think the Tigers might win. I think when you've got Martin, obviously Cumberland's a danger, Tom Lynch, who's my tip for the Coleman, I think they might just have a little bit too much, even though Carlton's got some firepower of their own.
Yeah, I think Carlton in a tight one for me. The next game, Friday night, it's Collingwood and Geelong, Jim, and it's going to be an absolute beauty. And we want to talk about Tom Stewart. Yep. So how do you stop him? The one game that's been done, it was Charlie Cameron at the Gabba. So if Myercheck or for example, Elliott or McStay get him, how do you drag him back?
Yeah, I don't think you can stop him, but the key is this is where Tom Stewart will want to play. He want to play where he dictates the game, keeps it in front of him. He'll either intercept or really set up the rebounding attack. He's almost the goalkeeper, the term we like to use. But what Brisbane do really well is they honour Charlie Cameron. Every time they see him, hit him up, because that pulls Tom Stewart up and he has to defend. He's a fantastic one-on-one defender, but he's not setting up Geelong's rebound footy. So he'll keep trying to get to the last line. Whoever gets him, you've got to take him back and make him play, I guess, a defensive game.
Collingwood were the only team that scared Geelong in last year's final series. And it was that first quarter where I think it's chaos v control. So if Collingwood can get the chaos game going, yep, Jim, gives them half a chance. And I love this. Early in the game, they've put speed on the game. And I thought Geelong were in serious trouble there in that first quarter. So
how do Collingwood, for you, Lloydie, how do they keep the speed on the game when Geelong are going to be so structured? Do they just have to be willing to make a lot more risks?
Well, they're forward handball. They miss a few handballs, Collingwood, but they've just got to keep going at it for 4 quarters. I know it's hard, but I think you've got to unsettle this. Look how uncertain O'Connor is there. You just got to keep attacking Geelong as much as you can for 4 quarters.
So who are you tipping in this one?
I'm actually tipping Collingwood to beat Geelong in this game.
I think this is going to go down to 1 kick, and Geelong, heart overhead.
OK, the Saturday night game, what a great round we've got. It's Melbourne v the Western Bulldogs, and I want to highlight something I've seen different from Melbourne in this pre-season. So let's look at what they did wrong last year, how they got found out. So use the handball here, Jim. He doesn't use it. So how predictable is this for blokes like Darcy Moore who love it? So they zoned off. So we could have shown this countless and countless times. They're one of the best inside 50 teams, but they waste them, Jim.
And these are all from back of centre. And I know Tom McDonald missed a lot of the footy, but he was the type of player they had between the 50-metre arc and the back of the goal square, which can create this overlap. You can choose, you can give the handball, you can come quickly back off the mark, and then you can hit these dangerous entries. We saw too much from Melbourne, kicking towards the pocket. It's defending with the football, the new catch line. But see, build the ball up through the middle of the part of the ground. I think they relied too much on how dominant their rucks were by dumping it to the boundary line, trying to get a throw in as well. So look at these. These become easy goals, 30 metres out straight in front. So this one here too, Lloydie, if you give this, they keep running. Yeah. If you ignore it, everyone stays back.
So instead of blasting the ball from centre, they're using the extra handball and lowering their eyes, which is fantastic, Jim.
Can I ask you about the Dogs? World's tallest forward line. You've played in a forward line. Obviously yourself, Lucas, James Hird came down there. A resting ruckman took up your space. How are the Dogs going to manage that?
Well, I've only seen it work with Brisbane, Brown, Bradshaw and Lynch. I think that's the best I've seen work with 3. They're going to try and go 4. I think it's too big. So I think they'll have issues. No Cody Waitman, no Arthur Jones. So that's where the sub comes into it. You could easily sub a forward out at any stage you like if it's not working. But I like it from Luke Beveridge, Ed, because I think that he's trying something completely different. And that's what you have to do maybe to go on and win a premiership. So
look, I suppose the other thing, though, is that they're 4 good players. Yeah. You know, the young Darcy, if he takes the next step, he's going to be something special. But, you know, you can have tools, but if they're all spuds, they're no good. But if they can actually play, it gives you a bit of a chance. And they're both pretty nimble. All 4 of them are pretty good on the ground.